Good morning. I've had some really interesting experiences in the last couple of weeks of synchronicities, or actually just meeting people who I know or who know somebody. But anyway, one example was I was on an online dating site again, just for fun, and I connect with a guy who lives on the other side of town from here. He lives way over, and it's in Ahwatukee, which is like more than an hour from my house. He came on and he said, "Oh, I used to live in Litchfield Park too, and I really miss it." And he said, "I'll bet we know some of the same people." So we ended up talking on the phone, and turns out we do know several people, his dentist and his realtor, and he knows the whole area and everything. So I thought that was great. So the next time I talked to him, I said, "Isn't it really a small world?" And I told him the story about when I was in Costa Rica at a workshop with my husband, and there were 24 of us in the group, and we were walking to dinner, and Ed was up ahead, a few steps ahead of me, talking to this woman named Connie, and she lived in Connecticut. And she said to him, what did you do when you were working? And he said, "I was in the Air Force." And she goes, "Oh, I used to date a guy in the Air Force." And Ed goes, "Oh, who's that?" As if, there's like 10.3 million people have been in the Air Force. And she goes, "John McFalls." And he goes, "Oh, that's Heather's brother." So it turns out she knew my mother, my sister, and my grandmother, and and of course was dating my brother. And so that was a miracle. And then Carl, who I was talking to online, who lived on the other side of town, we were talking on the phone, and he says, "Your brother is John McFalls?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, he went to the Air Force Academy with him, and he knows a whole bunch of other people that we know." And it's like, what are the odds of that I'm just online on this globally international dating site, and I get connected with this guy? It's, amazing. Then I was at lunch the other day. A friend of ours had just invited some other lady friends over for lunch, and we went over, and there were two people there who I didn't know. And then when it was over, I got an email with the contact info so we could connect with it. So one of them, named Christy, with her last name, I asked her if she was related to anybody with this last name who I knew, and she said, "Yes, it was my husband." And I go, "Holy Moses!" And I called her and I said, that he was my sister's first husband. And so he was my brother-in-law. And here I am in Cave Creek, Arizona, at a luncheon with these people I didn't even know. And she turns out to be the second wife of my sister's first husband. What's going on? What are the odds there? That just shows how really connected we are and what a really small world it is. I did talk to somebody last night, and she said astrologically, when Venus is retrograde like that, it brings up old relationships and people from the past coming in. So that definitely happened. I just can't even explain how that happened, but it's really been a lot of fun. And then I also connected with another person who he and his wife gave me a couple of books that they wrote years ago, and I never did read them. And then all of a sudden, I just get the message when my guides say, "Go get those books." And so I pulled them out and I looked at them. And I read one. I never read it before, but I read the first one in like 3 days, and then I've started into the second one. And that was written by the husband. It was somebody who lived across the street from me in Arlington, Virginia, when I was in junior high school. So I've known him since way back in the 50s. And then that I all of a sudden got connected with them through his mother, because I went to visit her, and she mentioned that he had gotten really spiritual, and she kept describing everything. I said, "Oh, I'd probably could relate to him." So she gave me his contact info, and then we connected on that. So there's 3 things in the last couple of weeks that came up of people from the past showing up. So wonder if that's happening to you. And if it is, just know that it's astrologically like Venus is retrograde till September 3rd. So we can have all these different experiences. So I'm hoping you're having a great day and have a really good week. It's, even though it's like 105 here, that's cooled off for us. So it's certainly not unbearable to have to live here. And I've always been so grateful that I don't have to work outside. I'm not a roofer or a landscaper or a contractor building houses. I'm really fortunate I get to just stay in the house until I'm ready to go out, and the car's hot, and then you get it cooled off, and then you go on and do what you want to do. And then also we have to take jackets with us to go to a movie because it's always overly air conditioned. Anyway, that's the story for this week, and thanks for checking in to Nonstop Aha Moments, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye.